Hey everybody, welcome back to the Inside the Den podcast here on WSVC Radio, where each week we take a closer look into St. Vincent College athletics. I'm Andrew Lucuski, joined once again by my co-host Colt Easterling. Colt, we had a busy week of athletics last week.
Yeah, busy and successful week. Only 2 losses between all the sports competing last week. So, very, very good week in the St. Vincent world of athletics.
Absolutely. You and some other members of our team were calling some various games. How was the energy for the basketball games that you guys were at?
It was really good. Men's and women's basketball were played here on Saturday. Myself, Logan, and Julie took turns calling those games. It went very well. Both teams come out with wins. We'll get into a little bit of the stats and a little more things that happened during the game, but overall successful broadcast, successful games.
You guys are definitely getting the handle on it. I was listening to you. You guys
Oh,
sound
good,
pretty
yeah.
good.
No, I think the men's game, at least for me, was one of my best calls of the year. So,
Very modest of you.
no, yeah.
I'm just kidding. All right, well, let's get into the recaps. We'll start with the women's basketball, who had a pretty successful week last week. Colt, They went 2-0. They won against Franciscan on Wednesday, 97-48. That game was out in Ohio. And then they gave Teal a bit of a beating on Saturday, 98-34. You called the game. What were some of the highlights for you?
Well, for the Saturday game, I can personally say that every girl that got on the court played very, very well. They all seemed to play very well together. Coach Petruska had some leeway where he could plug and play a lot of different people because of the score, but everyone looked really, really good out there. Even like some of the farther pieces down on the bench looked like they knew they could play. So I was very impressed by all their performances.
I mean, yeah, you have to be, especially with almost a 70-point win. That's a good, and we were talking last week. I think Teal's had some struggles this season, but they're still all college athletes.
Yes,
and
exactly.
They put up almost 100, and they also only kept Teal to 34.
Yes,
so
exactly.
A very good all-around game. This wasn't a high-scoring game on both ends where the St. Vincent team just happened to come out on top. No, they put a stop to Teal and put up a ton of points for themselves. So
yeah, they did very well. The scoring margin in both games were quite large. You said almost 70 points in the Teal game. Franciscan game had
it was almost
close
50.
to 40 or 50. Yeah. 97-48 was the final there. And St. Vincent, I mean, they just didn't really stop. They put the pedal to the metal the whole way. They outscored them 30-11 in the third quarter of the Franciscan game and 22-13 in the fourth. So
finishing strong for sure, helping them out.
Never letting off. Some impressive performances. Reese Gadsby finished with 15 points and 6 rebounds in the Franciscan game. McKenna Mayer finished with 15 points and 7 rebounds. We're going to talk a little bit more about her later on. She'll be on here later, giving her thoughts and feelings about her season and a couple of those games. Emily Thompson finished with 11 points and 5 rebounds and 2 steals. All around, really good stuff from everyone.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think you know where I'm going to go with this, Colt. The two opponents were pack games.
Yes.
Huge for them.
Yeah, big-time implications.
Yeah, they're now 9-4 in the conference. And, you never know how ties and stuff are going to work out, but they're racking up their point differential here, which you never know. It could play a factor, but now they went 2-0 in their pack games last week and won them by pretty substantial margins. I'm not sure exactly where they are in the conference at the moment, though. I don't know if you know, Colt.
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now. I think this is completely updated, but currently they are tied for 4th with Grove City. Grove City has the better overall record, only by 1 game, though. And St. Vincent is in the midst of a 4-game stretch of very, very winnable games. And that's one of the questions I have for McKenna later is just how you can take advantage of those. But yeah, point differential wasn't even something that I thought about. I mean, they've been close with Grove City the whole season, so that is something that it may come down to.
Yeah, you never know, so rack them up while you can.
Exactly.
All right, we'll move on to men's basketball, who also had a successful week last week, playing Franciscan and Teal, winning the Franciscan game last Wednesday 70-56, and winning the Teal game on Saturday 77-54.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit more about the Teal game. Very high energy, nice crowd here in the Carey Center. I mean, Chick-fil-A and basketball is going to draw anyone,
That's
especially
true.
College students. So,
Great
it was
food, man.
very good game overall. They looked like they played very well to me. They were without Javante Jones. They're one of their big defensive pieces. Not quite sure what's wrong with him. I should have asked DP when I had the chance. Um, and But yeah, overall, really, really good game from the guys and the girls. Guys came out on top. And this was kind of a revenge game earlier in the season when they traveled to Teal. They lost the game only by 3 points, but that definitely has a blemish on their record. And it definitely is going to have implications going into the playoffs with seeding and whatnot. Currently, they sit tied for second with Grove City. We hold the tiebreaker since we beat them in overtime a couple weeks ago. And we also have the better overall record. And Grove City actually lost to Franciscan on Saturday. So that also has big implications. Franciscan only sitting at 6-7 in the pack. So
Okay. Who's in first for the men's?
it's Chatham, who we have lost to home and away.
St.
Yeah,
Vincent's got some work to do if they want to
yes,
overtake that
definitely.
spot, I think. Yeah.
And they have a nice long break. They're going to be playing against Geneva, I believe, this upcoming Friday or Saturday. Geneva, that's obviously a big game. The only games that, Geneva beat St. Vincent twice last year. The first one was away in the regular season, and then the second one was away in the PAC championship.
Mm-hmm.
So, championship rematch inside Geneva. So, best believe that's going to be a big game.
Yeah, it's good the guys have almost a week off though to get ready for that
Oh, yeah,
because
that'll be
you
good.
know as Dev said those are the opponents they got circled on their schedule.
Yeah, 100%. I think they'll start to circle Chatham now, though. Geneva has taken a little bit of a dip since last season, but still holding strong for sure. They definitely have a spot to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, and
Wouldn't be
it's a back
surprised
game.
to
So
wouldn't be
nothing else.
surprised to see them make some noise later in the season.
For sure. All right, we will move on to wrestling next, if I believe
Yeah.
I'm correct. Colt, who beat it's Hiram,
Yes.
right? Yeah, I struggled with that last time. I think I said that wrong. 48-6. So another beating last Thursday for the St. Vincent wrestling team.
Yeah, they beat Waynesburg last week by
Almost 30.
yeah, almost 30. I think it was like 46-12, something like that. So an even better win here against Hiram in the Carey Center. So
Yeah.
Carey Center's seen a lot of wins this past week, which is awesome.
Yes, that was a pack game for them too, and I believe they're still undefeated in the pack at 2-0.
Yes.
Not a massive sample size, but
Still
those
still
games
good.
matter.
Yeah, so they still sit at first in the pack seating. So yeah,
I'm looking through the recap. They won 9 of the 10 weight classes. Yeah, that's a pretty comfortable win for the wrestling team here at St. Vincent. So
yeah, it looked
impressive.
like their only loss came in the final match. It says the Hiram Terriers picked up a pin at 285. So, but the Bearcats.
Oh, that close to
Yeah,
sweeping
I
it out,
know.
man.
I know. I don't know if St. Vincent's ever had a perfect match. I mean, I can't believe how difficult that may be, but
They came
I know,
really close.
No, they did come very close, and I know they've only been around for 2 seasons now. They've done a lot of amazing things, so
Yeah, that would have
wouldn't
been
be
impressive.
surprised to see that come either later in the season or next season, whenever it may be.
Yeah, now that they got that close, they're gonna try for that.
They're gonna be thinking about it for sure.
Yes, and both of our men's and women's swimming team had a meet this past Saturday.
Mhm.
Both had very successful weekends. The women's team winning 176-86 against Westminster, and the men's team winning 156-104. A little bit of a closer margin there, but still fairly comfortable.
Yeah, 2 good, impressive wins here for the men's and women's swimming teams. They both remain at second overall in the pack standings, so they're firmly in a good position. And as I said last episode, I'm not entirely sure how the seeding works for that. I don't know if they start with a few points or however that works, but whatever they're doing it right. Happy to see that both our teams are doing very well after the men started off a little rough. They definitely picked it back up, and I think Florida training did them well.
Yeah, they're coming back good in the pack. Both of them are 4-1 overall, as you mentioned, which is that's second in the pack, so comfortably in a spot to make a run for a pack title. But they're not quite done yet. I don't know how many meets they have left. They got the Carnegie Mellon of this upcoming week. Oh, that's their last one actually. So
Okay.
That's an invite. So I think this was their last full team meet.
Pack
So
thing? Okay.
yeah, PAC's right after that. So coming up quick for sure. I don't know who will be going to the invite. Hayden talked about that when we had him on a couple weeks ago,
Yes,
actually.
yes, he did.
But based on the recent success, it wouldn't surprise me if we have a ton of athletes heading out there.
Yeah, one person I wouldn't be surprised to see there would be Jacob Doritza, who actually won our Pack Swimmer and Diver of the Week for St. Vincent. So I think he picked up 4 wins against Westminster. So really, really good stuff from him. Wouldn't
Yeah,
be surprised to see him make some noise.
yeah, absolutely. He's probably heading out. It's in Pittsburgh this weekend. So if anybody hears of any of their friends who got invited,
Hmm.
head out to support if you can.
Yeah, and I think that Carnegie Mellon is a 2-day event as well. So
Yes, yeah,
there'll be
big event.
plenty of stuff coming back. And I know
Absolutely.
Deanna had some nice times. She finished third in one of her events. Not sure how much else she competed in, but that one for sure she did well in. So good to her as well.
Yes,
Always.
absolutely. All right, next we have the women's bowling team.
Hmm.
Went down to Louisville, Kentucky last weekend. I swear they never play at home.
No, I know.
They get to go everywhere under the sun, man. This was actually yesterday. They went down to Louisville for the Thomas M. Burris Memorial, and they finished sixth out of 17. Still in the top half, but a little bit lower than they're used to finishing, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, some of these, I don't know what kind of teams they're pulling from all over the country.
Yeah, these are
Clearly
some
good
big,
ones.
big meets.
If I
Yeah,
mean, if our team's going to all these different states, Vegas, or that's not a state, what am I saying? Nevada, Kentucky, wherever, New York, wherever they may be going, I know they're pulling big time teams. So six is nothing to be ashamed of.
yep. They averaged a not 191 for the day. The recap says that there was a strong field. There's not a ton of specifics, but I would imagine that there's a wide variety of Division One, Two, and Three
Yeah.
teams there. So, as the wrestling team has, and women's bowling for the most part too, actually, are certainly playing up from the Division Three level that a lot of um, schools around here are.
Yeah, and it looks like a few new faces may have been at this match. Mara Pillock, who was the AMCC player the previous week, she did well again. She bowled a 230 in one of her games. Sabine Strickland did as really, really good as well with a 236. And there was a few other people that placed over that 200 mark. So really impressive job from all the ladies.
Absolutely. And our final sport for the week is men's volleyball that had two matches on Saturday against Elizabethtown. They lost 2-3. Looks like it was a very, very competitive
Yeah,
match though. And then
couple.
they won against Wilson 3-0.
Yeah, the Elizabeth game. The first one went into overtime, and the second one went to match point. They won 27-25 the first game. St. Vincent. Oh man, I'm just realizing this now, but they really had a chance to close this one out. They were up 2-0 through the first two sets and ended up losing. That's a heartbreaker.
Yeah,
But they came very, very close, and then they swept Wilson later in the day. So clearly didn't get to their heads too much. Sean McSwiggan played very well. 28 kills, couple aces, 12 digs.
he won Pac Player of the Week, I think, for
He did,
volleyball too. Yeah, a
yes.
couple honors this week for some of our athletes.
Yes, and I will um, be excused not to mention Emerson Peffer, who won Pac Newcomer of the Week for women's volleyball. So, and she played very well in that teal game. She was all over the place, just throwing everything down. It was really nice to see.
Absolutely. And
Um,
the two volleyball matches have not been, none of the ones they played have been Pac yet.
mhm.
These were in excuse me, in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. I guess this was some regional thing that they played a couple different schools. They're currently at 1-3, but have yet to play a conference game. I don't know when their first one is. It's coming up. They still got 2 weeks, so they're still getting ready. But then they have a nice long stretch of Pac games. So
Yeah, that's usually how most of the sports go. It appears they usually start off with some non-conference stuff just to get ready for the games that really matter.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Um, if you don't have anything else, Colts, I believe that's all of our sports for the week. Very, as you mentioned, very, very successful week for our teams. They're all sort of all the teams that have been in the thick of it for a while now are really getting into their groove. And we had men's volleyball start not that long ago, but are very competitive this weekend. So very successful week all around.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back with our interview with McKenna Mayer.
And now we are joined by McKenna Mayer, who is a basketball player here at St. Vincent College, who is majoring in math and secondary education. McKenna, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. So my first question for you, you guys had a pretty defining victory this weekend against Teal, almost 70 points. So how do you guys as a team move forward after that, using that energy to kind of propel you for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think just a big win kind of makes you look forward and be like, okay, like whoever we have next, using the same kind of momentum, same kind of teamwork and energy, like you said, and just carrying that into our future games.
Great. So far you lead the team in points per game, rebounds, and you've already won a Pack Player of the Week award. So what are some things that you can attribute this breakout season to?
Definitely my teammates, my coaches, all my support system, family and friends and all that, and just like hard work over the years, but I really couldn't do any of this without my teammates or coaches here around me. So
I've seen two women's basketball games, and both times, if I'm not mistaken, I've noticed the opposing coach making sure that their players single you out and are making sure that they guard you pretty heavy. How do you personally respond to that? I guess it's somewhat of a compliment because they're acknowledging that you're a heck of a basketball player, but how do you channel that to, kind of sticking it to them a little bit?
yeah, it's just kind of like looking for the open reads and stuff, but if I'm not necessarily open, making sure I can make plays for other people to get open. Maybe it's not my night, but I can make things happen for other people too.
It's good. So how have you been able to bounce back from an 0-4 start this season to an impressive 9-4 Pack record?
Yeah, I think just we played some tough teams at the beginning of the year and just kind of learning from those what we kind of need to improve on and kind of carry into the Pac conference games. Just talking about like a lot of teamwork, positive energy, positive attitudes, kind of growth throughout the games and learning from what we've done in past games from the first few games of the year and taking those into the conference.
Yeah, I think you had a couple of ranked opponents in your first few games, so yeah, never an easy start.
No, definitely not. You touched on it just a little bit, but what are some of the biggest things that you guys as a whole are looking to improve the most down the stretch?
Yeah, I think just really coming together, like there's going to be plays that maybe don't go our way, but just making sure we stick together as a team and kind of have acknowledgement, like maybe I turn the ball over, but just kind of coming together and be like, oh, next play, like we're going to get it back. So just kind of keeping that mindset and not getting down on mistakes or anything. Just like we talk about kind of failure recovery. Like if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Just recover and get the next play.
I think that's you guys probably have one of the best sports to do that, being so fast paced.
Right.
If you mess up in 4.5 seconds, you can have the ball again, and it be in totally your control.
Yeah. So looking at your schedule, you're in the middle of a 4-game stretch of, I would see, winnable games. So what is something that you think, or the team, or what is something that you or the team could work on during these games?
I think just keeping in mind that sometimes it's not who you play, but it's how you play. So if we like come together, kind of like I said, just playing team basketball and focusing on ourselves and not so much the opponent. Like obviously every opponent's going to be a little different, but if we focus on our game and like our standards of, maybe like focusing on the rebounds, assists, defense, all of those things kind of lead to hopefully some victories.
Do you guys have any opponents kind of circled on your schedule for the rest of the season? Is there anybody that you guys are like, we want this game?
I mean, I think everyone probably maybe thinks here and there sometimes. We don't really have anyone circled, but there's definitely like some teams that, I mean, if we lost them the first time, you kind of want to get them back. So something like that.
Yeah, you got it. I admire that you guys treat everybody equally. That's not to dismiss somebody, especially wanting to win one game, but I think that's a recipe for success if you just kind of look at the next game up.
Yeah, absolutely. What is something that you're very proud of throughout your basketball career? Not necessarily at St. Vincent. Maybe it was coming to St. Vincent in the first place. So maybe touch on that a tad.
I think just kind of having the opportunity to play college basketball, because when I was young, like elementary school and stuff, like I loved playing basketball, and I was always hoping for the opportunity to play at the next level in college. But like after being recruited in high school and stuff, I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to play here with a great program.
So How has your experience been so far with the program, especially with Coach Petrushka and the support staff that's around you? How would you characterize how it's been so far for you?
I think it's been really great. Honestly, the coaches are incredible. They're probably the main reason I came here. Just meeting them on campus. I visited twice before I decided to come here, but they really just kind of lay out the program for you. So it's been really good having them around and stuff. But yeah, they're very supportive academic wise too. They know that we're also students, not just athletes. So having them always encouraging has been really, really good.
That's great. I'm going to turn back the clock here just a tad. What do you see in this team that is similar to the team that won the PAC championship?
I think just something is like any given day, someone might have a great scoring night. Like we have a ton of pieces on the team that could really go off at any time, and just kind of having a ton of contributing players has been really helpful.
Yeah, I think this game definitely proves that. A lot of players in double digits, a lot of players that you may not see on a normal night contributing a lot. So
Yeah, up and down is a very. We were talking. We were doing our recaps, and it was the point margin was definitely incredibly impressive. But I think also the amount that you guys were able to put up while also holding Teal to only 30 points. So you guys, it was all around a very strong performance. Is there anything pregame that you could attribute to that, or is it just everything was kind of firing on all cylinders that night for you guys?
Yeah, I think a little bit of everything. Definitely, like sometimes the energy, like you feel good in the warm-ups, and sometimes like focusing on getting a good start to the game, just going out there in like an attack mode and not get on your heels really helps.
Any more questions?
I have one more. I mentioned before we started, I'll give you a chance to pitch the program. What would you like some incoming recruits to know about the women's basketball team here?
Yeah, it's really just a great environment to be in. The team, the coaches, everything. It's so much support around you. I really couldn't ask for better teammates or coaches. And I know that might sound cliche, but it's the truth here. So it's a great time, and you'll probably meet some of your lifelong best friends, and you'll be coached by great people and great coaches and things like that. So I do recommend.
Awesome. Thanks for your time.
Yeah,
we really
thanks very much.
It.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
And that was McKenna Mayer. We really appreciate her coming on here, giving us a little bit of her time to share her thoughts and feelings about basketball. So really appreciate it.
Definitely thoughtful answers, and another common theme, talking a lot about the team camaraderie that they have there, and people being able to get the job done up and down the lineup for sure.
Do you want to go into next week's games, something to look forward to?
Yes, so we mentioned during our recap that men's basketball has a couple days off. They will be at Geneva on February 1st. So will the women's basketball team. Wrestling up next is here against Washington and Jefferson on January 30th, which I believe is Thursday. Yes, at 7 p.m. in the Carey Center. Men's and women's swimming has... we talked about this.
Carnegie.
Invitational is their next thing, and then they're going right into the... Well, they got a while to the PAC championships, actually. The Invitational is this weekend, and then the PAC championships do not start until the 19th, so a couple weeks off for the swimmers. So hopefully, they get rested up and ready to go. Women's bowling is at the Pitt Greensburg Open this weekend. Men's volleyball is looks like has another regional meet of some sort with Wilkes, Penn State Altoona, and just that, both on February 1st. I'm not sure where that's away. It's not here. I'm not sure where that is looking at the schedule right now. Track and field will be at Youngstown State this weekend for the Youngstown State mid-major. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I don't understand a ton about winter track, but
maybe it's the middle of the season. I have no idea. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I think that covers everybody. So a lot of games going on this weekend. Slower week than this week, though.
Not much going on here at St. Vincent, other than the wrestling on Thursday. But we look forward to the results nonetheless.
Yeah, we'll be back next Monday with our recap of this upcoming weekend's events.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Inside the Den podcast. We'll see you next week.
Hey there, listeners. I'm Matt Boyer, station manager of WSVC Radio. If you like what you're listening to, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button to be notified with all of our updates. Every day, one of our shows will be releasing a new episode. Stick around and tune in.